welcome to the stage Paul Mortimer, Angela Jane, and Chris Uni, everybody. There we go. For those that don't know, Chris Uni is the senior digital producer on Love Island. Paul Mortimer is ITV head of digital channels and acquisitions, and Angela Jane, I've never heard of. So,
they're already picking on me, and it's only 7 minutes past 10.
You're the managing director of ITV Studios Entertainment.
Ta.
And you brought Love Island to ITV2. You brought it back.
I did.
What was the thinking behind bringing Love Island back?
There wasn't really any thinking. We just thought it was quite a good idea. Paul and I were working together at ITV2 at the time. I spent 7 years commissioning Big Brother and knew that a show that was big, scale, volume, could have a huge impact and be a launchpad for other shows. And when we commissioned Love Island, we commissioned only the name, and then I said to the production team, can everything else be different, please?
There you go. And Paul, you're looking after it.
I am.
Now, it's gone up by 1.5 million in audience, this series. What is it about the most recent series that's really caught the British public's attention?
Do you know, I actually don't think it's any bigger or it's bigger, but it's not any better or any different than how it has been. I think these things take time. I think if you look back to any of the big franchises like Big Brother or even I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, they start at a certain level. When we had the first series of Love Island, we knew at the end of it we had a really great show. To bring it back was a no-brainer. So we did. We knew it would grow. And it's just that kind of inertia that you need, and especially when you're a bit further down the EPG as ITV2 is. You know, you're not one of the top 5 channels that people think of. So it takes a while. So you've got to hold your nerve and keep the faith, and I think that's what we did. And we're now in year 4, breaking records every night, every week, and it's been an amazing success.
Was there a point in the first series where you thought, we've got something here? Is there any point you can pinpoint, or is it more a general movement?
You know what, I feel like there's been so much Love Island, I'm struggling to even remember who won the first series.
The first series, what happened, there was 36 episodes and there was 6 weeks. And in the first week, I mean, obviously you've been there right from the beginning. First week, the show was over here. The second week, there was a pendulum swing and the show went over there. And by week 6, and basically episode 36, we thought, oh my God, we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And that's just at the point where the show finished. And so to Paul's point, none of the success of any of the big sustainable franchises, like Bake Off, you know, like Gogglebox, are ever overnight, and you have to keep the faith. And I think the truth of it is, by the end of the first series, I think we knew what we were doing. And so to kill it at that point would have been a mistake when, to be clear, Paul will remember this better than me, but I think the overnights were something like 500,000. Not the 4 million consolidated we're talking now. It was pretty small in its success, but it felt like it had something there.
And it was growing as well across the 6 weeks, and it was a pure young adult audience. And that's the thing about Love Island. It sits in exactly the right environment on the telly, on ITV2. It's on linear, of course, and that's where we want most people to watch it, but it exists in other spaces. Exists in social media, exists on the ITV hub, so you can catch up on it very easily now. It's the perfect show for ITV2, and that's why it works, and that's why we're doing the big numbers that we've done this year.
Yeah, and the part that sort of Chris and his team play in the digital offering is really important, because the show just lives and breathes beyond the transmission time, doesn't it? And we're constantly feeding the audience's appetite for more.
Yeah, because the show is obviously 1 hour a day, and then you've got 23 other hours to fill and engage that audience who absolutely want more Love Island. And that's what we've learned over the years, that people just can't get enough. The superfans cannot get enough of Love Island. So how do you fill those 23 hours of the day where the show isn't on TV?
How have you found the digital side of Love Island changing over the last 4 years with its increase in popularity, and also with the move to digital and television in general?
The change has been ridiculous. We remember series 1, we had 2 digital producers working on Love Island.
Can I just say one thing? Me and Chris, series 1, I had about 3 lines of VO an episode, and Chris, no disrespect, mate. Series 1, no one was checking Twitter for Love Island action, and me and you had the easiest jobs in television.
Yeah. And now it's been 6 weeks away.
I know.
And then the attention has got bigger. and the spotlight has been on us more, and the viewing figures have rocketed. Our Instagram is now the biggest UK TV show on Instagram, and our digital team now, we had 10 producers over in Mallorca for the run. We had maybe about 5 or 6 from Rubber Chicken producing a daily podcast. We had 5 or 6 from Monte Rosa working on the app. So all in, you're looking at over 20 people now working on Love Island purely from a digital point of view.
And are you looking at that digital side as to build up a following, as in you're saying you've now got the biggest Instagram of a UK TV show, or are you running concurrently?
Concurrently.
Shut up, Angela.
Sorry.
We'll edit
He does
this.
write his own lines on the show.
I do. What? I do.
Mark helps a bit.
Mark does. We don't mention Mark. Mark writes a show with me, and he also has a percentage of the format, so he's a very happy man. Every year, he's a grumpy Scottish man, but when CBS bought it, he skipped into what I did. Oh my God!
But that's why you work
He's
so well
Scottish. He's in his
together.
50s, and he bought me a pint that night. It was incredible. It was incredible.
But that's why you work so well together, because you've got the same dual Scottish voice.
Yes, and then I used to be more wealthy than him, and then that's all gone to bollocks. No, but what is your plan to support the show, or do you want to build this following because that's so important in the future?
Do you know what? It's a bit of both. We absolutely have to support the show while it's on air in that hour, but we also play a part in driving viewers to the show that night. So one of our most successful pieces of content is The First Look, which we produce every single day throughout the run, and that is a glossy, sexy 2-minute trailer for that night's episode. And it's not really a trailer. It is, we give stuff away, no spoilers.
I think it's spoilers.
There's a few spoilers, but it absolutely doesn't have the effect that it turns people off. It actually does the opposite, and the number of people who see this 2-minute clip, and it's so much more than what a 30-second or 20-second TV spot would give them to promote Love Island that night. And there's people who say things like, oh, do you know what, I'm a massive Love Island fan, I've watched it the last 7 nights, I was going to have a night off tonight because I've done the last 7 nights, I was just going to have a night off. Then I saw it all over social media this lunchtime, I watched The First Look, and I can't miss out, I have to tune in at 9 o'clock.
Did Georgia kiss Jack?
Yes.
I need to know.
Yes. But I think what Chris is being quite modest about is what his team also do for us, because they're on the ground, on location with us in Mallorca, is create a feedback loop. So we've got constant feedback from the audience, and that feeds the editorial, and we just keep on working together to go, oh, is that what the audience are worried about, or is that what the audience are talking about? How can we maybe impact the editorial with that information?
All that lovely, balanced Twitter feedback that people on Twitter love to get.
Yeah, really balanced.
I really love it. And also, we've got that there's been 2 million requests. Is it a day 2 million requests on the hub now?
Yes, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Per episode, yeah.
2 million requests on the hub per episode. How important is the hub?
Massively important. It's become a much better, more sophisticated, easier kind of to use application now, so that's good. This year we also solved a problem that we had last year, which was getting Love Island onto the hub at the point at which it had just finished on ITV2. So this year you could switch on for the first time, or rather log on to the ITV hub at 10 o'clock, and you could watch Love Island. It's been amazing. It's a destination to catch up. Because there's an overarching narrative on Love Island, you need to be in it at the beginning and you need to be pulled through to the end, and that's what these guys are doing, production online. And the hub is very much a part of that. And it's been it's the biggest thing the hub has ever seen. And whilst Love Island was on, it was beating the BBC iPlayer in terms of active users.
Unbelievable. And finally, just on the show's success, how important is Love Island's success to ITV2 as a channel? How useful to other programmes is Love Island?
Well, you've got a show that follows Love Island at 10 o'clock on Wednesday nights called Celebability, and it's been helpful as a launchpad for new series. It's the second series, so obviously it was series 3 that you benefited from. This year you've kind of been on your own a bit more, but no, it's a great lead-in. It delivers exactly the right audience. 16 to 34s is our target. 20-somethings is broadly who we're aiming for with most everything that we do. And when you've got a big hit like that, and it comes and it's on every night for 8 weeks, as it was this year, there's all manner of things you can do to help boost your ratings in that season. And certainly there's a halo effect to having Love Island right in the heart of prime time every night.
I think part of the show's success, and look, we all know this really well, is that it's a really direct conversation with viewers about something they're talking about every single day, relationships. And you're seeing it through, obviously, because, you know, we've got over 70 cameras there, and you're seeing it fixed through with all the nuanced conversations, and I think you're seeing it as real as you can do, given there's 24 hours of television and we're condensing it into 47 minutes every night. Those relationships playing out, and genuinely, everyone who comes on the show, all of those islanders are looking for love, and that authenticity,
and a few
I think,
quid.
yeah, and good for them. But that authenticity, I think, totally shines through. And of course, the show's brilliantly made, isn't it? So all of that together, and the wit and the humour, the voiceover, and all of that together, clearly people have latched onto. I mean, for the first time, I have definitely heard. And people say directly to me that they are watching it with their kids, and boys and girls and men and women are watching it together, and families are watching it together. And they're then discussing relationships and feelings and the way that men articulate or don't articulate their feelings afterwards and during.
And how women over-articulate their feelings.
All right.
No, I think it's true. The thing
and the minority on the stage, the only woman.
Oh, quickly bring a couple out.